So in the last two classes, we have seen how differential equation will support to understand the system. Obviously, this is second order differential equation, and we have to solve this particular uh, equation such that we can get how my position and velocity will be evolve with the time. And we will also learn in the future course that when we know the position and velocity, that means we know the state of a system, and we can define each and every physical quantity in a mechanics or classical mechanics. But today I am extending my topic towards again the potential analysis. And today we will just try to see what is the condition of simple harmonic motion and what is meaning of simple harmonic motion. Is that every oscillatory system will behave like simple harmonic motion, or is that every bounded system will behave like simple harmonic motion? We will just try to see. And we will also try to see that once we have some potential, then how we can approximate that potential to such a limit in which we can use as this potential as a harmonic oscillator. Obviously, if I am talking about harmonic oscillator, I am just talking about a force which is proportional to x, and the force must be restoring. That means minus sign must be there. So suppose I have one particular potential. Suppose this is my potential Vx, and suppose this is one kind of potential, and this is basically Vx is your potential, and this is Vx versus x. And let's say this point is x naught, and x naught is identified as stable equilibrium point. What is meaning of a stable equilibrium point? We can again revise this thing, that del V upon del x is equal to 0 at x is equal to x naught, and again we have del square V upon del x square at x is equal to x naught must be greater than 0. Now look at what is going to happen. If I have particle here, I will displace it, and it will go up to some limit, and again it will come back, and again it will go into this direction, and again into come back. So particle is trapped into this valley, and this point will be just behaving like a attractive point. Particle always try to go at this particular equilibrium point. So we have seen this thing in our earlier classes. Now, what is meaning of simple harmonic motion? And sometime we are using this thing as a small oscillation. For example, suppose I have harmonic oscillator. In this harmonic oscillator, suppose this is my equilibrium point. If I will extend this particular particle, this is m mass and this is omega, you can take this as k, and this will be k is equal to, sorry, this omega is equal to root under k upon m. We know all this thing for the simple harmonic motion. Suppose we extend it in this direction, then force will be towards the equilibrium point, and it may be, and it is just a equilibrium point. So either you will push the thing or you will pull the thing. Sorry, either you will push the thing or you will pull the thing. The force will be towards the equilibrium point. So why this force is identified as a restoring force. The force will be always opposed to the displacement. So this is identified as restoring force. So this force is basically proportional to minus x. So whenever we have potential, sorry, we have force which is proportional to minus x, we can say this is equivalent to simple harmonic motion. Now my question is that if my force is proportional to minus x square, is that it is oscillatory motion or non-oscillatory motion? This is also oscillatory motion. This is also oscillatory motion. Okay. This is also oscillatory motion. But even if this is oscillatory motion, this is not a simple harmonic motion. There are difference between the oscillation where force is proportional to minus x, and there is difference between oscillation when force is proportional, not proportional to minus x. In fact, it has some another function of x. You can say that this is just a linear function, and this is non-linear function. This is linear and this is non-linear. So let us first go, what are the condition of simple harmonic motion? And what is difference between when your force is linear and your force is non-linear? So first thing is that the first condition is that all about oscillatory motion. What is all about oscillatory motion? Oscillation. Okay. Oscillation. Oscillation. Is that every oscillatory motion is simple harmonic motion? No, it is not that. Not every oscillatory motion is simple harmonic motion. Okay. You need to satisfy some condition such that oscillatory motion can be approximated to the simple harmonic motion. So what is condition for oscillation? The condition for oscillation, I am not only saying about the simple harmonic motion, the condition of oscillation is that first motion should be bounded. The motion must be bounded. And second, the motion must be about stable equilibrium point. Stable equilibrium point. So you have to always keep in mind that a small oscillation or oscillation cannot be happen about the unstable equilibrium point. So motion must be about a stable equilibrium point. Okay. And if the third condition, if your force is proportional to minus x, then this is identified as simple harmonic motion. This is identified as simple harmonic motion, and sometime you can just say this is just a small oscillation kind of situation. Okay, maybe we have potential. Look at here. Maybe we have potential. Suppose I have potential something like this. Let's say this is x01. This is potential Vx versus x. This is, let's say, x02, and this is, let's say, x03. So if my particle is in this valley, it will execute simple harmonic motion. The bounded is there, and this point is what? A stable equilibrium point, isn't it? So, yes. So this motion is identified as oscillatory. Then this motion is identified as oscillatory. Similarly, if particle is bounded between this region, the particle is bounded between this region, this can be also identified as oscillatory motion. But, and I am just watching each and every motion with respect to this point, x is equal to x01, which is identified as a stable equilibrium point. Unless until you will not have a stable equilibrium point, the particle will not feel the restoring force. For example, this is bounded motion, isn't it? This is bounded or unbounded. This is your potential and this is your bounded motion. But this bounded motion is all about this point. For this particular energy, this is more relevant point. And this is a stable or unstable point. Obviously, this is unstable equilibrium point, and then it is not necessary that this motion will behave like an oscillatory motion. So for the oscillatory motion, We need bounded motion. If I am saying it is bounded motion, that means it is periodic in nature. So this is first condition, but it is not enough. There are a lot of bounded motion which cannot be oscillatory in nature. So if this is my bounded motion and plus the motion must be about a stable equilibrium point. It is very important thing. The motion must be about a stable equilibrium point. Then only you can say this motion is oscillatory. And if somehow you can approximate your force such that that will be proportional to minus x and that will be linear force, then it is identified as simple harmonic motion. And then if your motion is simple harmonic, if motion is simple harmonic, if motion is simple harmonic, then frequency of oscillation is constant. And suppose if motion is not simple harmonic, maybe there is restoring force, maybe there is some bounded motion, and there is motion about the stable equilibrium point, and you can have this sort of force. F is proportional to minus x cube. Suppose this type of force you have, then your and this is what, linear or non-linear? This is non-linear. This is non-linear. If this is non-linear, then your frequency is not constant. And dependent on energy or amplitude. Energy and amplitude. So right now you can just keep this thing in mind. When we will go for actually what is happening to simple harmonic motion and when we will finish the classical mechanics, then we will see what will happen for the non-linear thing. But right now we are just considering ourselves for the linear thing. For example, I am just giving you the two examples which are very interesting, and you will see the potential have exactly same shape. It has exactly same shape, but what is happening? One side it can do simple harmonic motion and another side it will not execute simple harmonic motion, but the motion is oscillatory. And that is all about non-linear force. So let's go for two potential. So let's go for two potential. Suppose first potential is Vx is equal to half kx square, and obviously this is something like that, exactly parabolic in shape. This is Vx versus x. And second potential, let's say this Vx is equal to, let's say, 1 by 4 kx to the power 4. Deliberately, there is half, here is 2, here is 4, here is 4. I have deliberately taken this type of potential. And if you have this sort of potential, what will be shape? Exactly something like this, isn't it? Exactly this type of shape is there. Vx versus x, isn't it? Both are even function. This is also even function. And it will be go very sharply. It will be also move in, if x tends to infinity, this potential will also infinity. And x is equal to 0. Both have a stable equilibrium point because in both case, k is greater than 0. In both case, k is greater than 0. Then what will happen? What is force here? The force is minus kx. That is all about minus del v upon del x, isn't it? And same time, what is force here? The force is also here,
minus
that
kx cube.
minus del V upon del X is equal to minus kx cube. This is force here. This is also a stable equilibrium point. This is also a stable equilibrium point. But here you can easily solve your differential equation and you will get omega is equal to root under k upon m. But here omega will be some function of energy that will not constant. If you will increase energy, maybe omega is going to change. So this is very different kind of scenario you have to see. Okay. But the beautiful thing is that we have beautiful mathematics which can approximate any potential to a simple harmonic motion for a small displacement case. So why sometime we can use the word small oscillation for the simple harmonic. Okay, so let's go for that theory. But before that, if you have any doubt, you can raise your question. So one question will always ask from this topic, just from this topic, one question every year. So you should prepare for that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's go for how we can approximate any potential such that it will just behave like it can just behave like a simple harmonic motion. Okay. So let's go for this. So we have potential. Let's say potential is Vx. And I have a point. This point is stable equilibrium point. This is all about a stable equilibrium point. What we are going to do, we are just doing the Taylor expansion of this potential about x naught. We are just doing this Taylor expansion of this potential about x naught. So what will be this value? V x naught is the first one. The second one is del V upon del x at x is equal to x naught. And here is x minus x naught. I think everybody know this Taylor expansion. And this will be del square V upon del x square at x is equal to x naught. And half will be also there. That is x minus x naught whole square. Actually, factorial 2 is there, isn't it? And then we have third order term. Similarly, we will go for order of x minus x naught whole cube. So this is identified as unharmonic term. Unharmonic. This is known as harmonic term. And obviously this is linear term. Okay. And x naught is what? Nothing but a stable equilibrium point. Are you people comfortable? This is a stable equilibrium point. So what will happen to this number?
So it will be 0.
This number will 0. Okay. This number will 0 because this is equilibrium point. So this number is 0. So this number is 0. And what about this point? What about this number? This number is positive. Obviously, this number is positive. And we have some situation. We have some situation where we can neglect this particular higher order term because it is very small. And we assume that x minus x naught to the power cube, x minus x naught to the power 4, all this thing is just a negligible, just tends to zero. Then I can write my potential, and obviously this one is a constant. So what I can do, I can write my potential Vx as some constant value V naught plus half k x minus x naught whole square. And what is this value of k? The value of k is identified as del square V upon del x square at x is equal to x naught, and which must be greater than 0. So this is the value of k. Now, if this is my potential, what will be my force? My force is nothing but minus del V upon del x. Isn't it? Hence, this is constant. Then this force is nothing but minus k x minus x naught. Yes, isn't it? Everyone is going
Yes,
to
sir.
appreciate this thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yes,
Yeah.
this force is proportional to x minus x naught, and which is linear. And if you will solve this equation, then this equation is m square dx upon, or you can put x minus x naught is y. Don't worry, x minus x naught is y. So dx upon dt is equal to y. So you can easily solve this equation. है ना? D square y plus k y must be equal to 0. And you have angular frequency, which is actually k upon m. Yes? D square y upon dt square. Okay. So this omega, and you can compare with the oscillation dy upon dt square. एक मिनट k upon y equal to 0. हाँ बताओ.
Sir, we have taken y to be dx by dt. So, sir, like for the formula of acceleration, it should be dy by dt.
What will happen?
Sir, we have taken dx by dt to be y.
Or dy upon
so
dt.
sir,
Obviously, yes. dy upon dt.
Okay.
I have done this thing there. Thank you. Dx upon dt square is equal to dy square upon dt square. Yes, thank you. I have done this thing here. Okay. Actually, I just focused on the second order differential equation. Yes, please correct it. Okay. Exactly. So this is omega is root under k upon m. You can write this thing. है ना? The equation is d square y dt square plus omega square y, and you have omega is root under k upon m. And what is your k? This k is nothing but del square v upon del x square at x is equal to x naught. Are you people getting this thing?
Yes, sir.
This is your k. And now for the any given potential, if you are able to calculate this number, you can easily calculate what will be its angular frequency for the small oscillation, and exactly which can be equivalent to simple harmonic motion. Are you people getting this all theory?
Yes,
Everyone? Puneet, आप
sir.
हमेशा मत बोलिए, ठीक है? Let other people ask. Okay. If I am asking that, are you getting this thing? Then only those people will reply who are not getting this thing. Okay. That will be good for me. Okay. It is not
Okay,
good
sir.
that every time you will say yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Okay.
सर
Okay.
सर
हाँ बोलो.
सर ये जो एक्सपेंशन हम लोगों ने परफॉर्म किया है इसमें हार्मोनिक और अनहार्मोनिक टर्म्स क्या शो करते हैं सर?
हार्मोनिक अनहार्मोनिक टर्म हमने नाम दिया हुआ है. जो स्क्वायर वाले टर्म को कहते हैं उसे हार्मोनिक कहते हैं. अनहार्मोनिक टर्म स्क्वायर से हायर वाले टर्म को कहते हैं. ओके.
ओके सर. ओके.
एंड दिस इज लीनियर टर्म. ओके.
यस सर.
That means this is just this is coefficient of a square term. Okay. So what we are doing, we are just taking a potential and doing the Taylor expansion up to which limit? Up to square limit. Why up to square limit? Because I want my force to be linear. When you will differentiate your potential, then what will happen? The square term become linear. And so why very intelligently we assuming that this all higher order term other than this one is very small and which can be neglected. That is the only way we can do. That is the only thing we can do. Because if you will take this term into account or the next term into account, the solving this differential equation is headache for you. So at least you can get which type of ideal situation you can achieving that. But after then, suppose you want to do with the help of this and this, then obviously you have to use the computers and nonlinear dynamics theory to analyze the system. But in the mechanics, in general ideal dynamics, where we want to use the Newtonian mechanics mainly, then obviously we can only go up to this level. Okay, we can only go up to this level. So this is very interesting. And yes, एक minute. And yes, and this square term is after Taylor expansion. Okay, this square term must be after Taylor expansion. You should not see that which one is the square term in a potential. No, after doing Taylor expansion, then you will be calculate what will be your k. हाँ बताओ.
सर जो टेलर एक्सपेंशन में क्यूब वाला जो टर्म है तो उसका कोएफिशिएंट हम लोग ने 0 क्यों लिया?
उसका कोएफिशिएंट 0 नहीं लिया है, ऑर्डर ऑफ x minus x naught है, and I assume x minus x naught is very small, so why I neglected this one.
Okay, sir.
Okay, this term is 0 actually. Order of this term, it will be something factorial 3, and you have del cube upon del x square, x cube. This term will be there. So this is not 0. This term is 0 actually. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. So उसके coefficient को 0 नहीं लिया है. Coefficient तो कुछ ना कुछ number देगा, and it will be good number. But this displacement is very small. So why we can neglect this thing? Okay. So this is the thing you have to appreciate in this particular theory of a small oscillation. So let us try to go for one problem. एक प्रॉब्लम करें इस पर? हाँ, yes.
सर ये जो हमने अनहार्मोनिक टर्म्स को नेग्लेक्ट किया है सर, वो वाला जो अप्रोक्सीमेशन है वो शो कर रहा है कि हम स्मॉल ऑसिलेशंस कंसीडर कर रहे हैं.
Exactly. Very good. Yes. Because what is small and what is big is solely defined by me, defined by you, defined by our aim of problem. Just I am giving you a very nice example. Look at here. Suppose we have simple pendulum, isn't it? Or leave it the simple pendulum. Suppose I have sine theta, and this sine theta we are replacing sometimes sine theta is equal to theta, isn't it? And suppose some other person will replace sine theta is equal to theta minus theta cube by factorial 3, and some person will write sine theta is equal to theta minus theta cube by factorial 3 plus theta 5 by factorial 5 and so on. And suppose he are just taking this, suppose this is person 1, this is person 2, this is person 3. Now can you please tell me which person is going more and more towards the accurate result? Third one. Because the person 3 is assuming that theta to the power 7 is very small. Are you getting my point? But second person is assuming theta to the power 5 is very small. So why he is taking the term up to level of theta cube? But this person is assuming all these are very small, isn't it? And he is just working in a linear situation. So It depends on us that where up to which limit I have to choose the relevant point, or which limit I have to choose the small quantity or big quantity. Depends on our choice of mathematical tools, and more depends on which type of system we are working with this, how much accurate answer we wanted to do. Here we don't want very accurate answer actually. We just want, okay, if this will, okay, this is oscillatory system, but I cannot solve the problem completely. So what I will do, I will just go for a certain limit where the system can execute as a simple harmonic motion. So why I can choose up to this limit such that force is linear, isn't it? Such that force is linear. But yes, if you are good mathematician, if you have very nice tool of mathematics, then you should go up to this limit. But thing is that here, that will be one square term will be there. If you are enough brave, you should go up to next term, then it will be very complicated to solve this differential equation. So solving the differential equation is not a simple task. Okay, it's a very big task. Only certain limits we can solve this particular thing. Obviously, you can assume, you can think that the differential equation is the very old theory. This is the calculus theory given by the Newton. But currently, even in the year of 2021, we can not very easily solve the nonlinear equation. This is the limitation of this particular thing. Okay, so we are just going toward the approximation theory. Okay, so let's go for one basic problem. एक problem को करते हैं, ठीक है? Okay, let's try to go for this. Suppose I have potential. This potential is very nice potential, ax square plus b upon x square. And suppose the particle of mass m execute a small oscillation about a stable point. So mass m execute small oscillation about stable equilibrium point. So we need to find what will be my frequency. So some people can do some blunder thing. What they will do, they will just neglect this part and take this part, and they can just multiply with half, multiply with 2, and they will say, okay, this is my k, 2a is k, and I can neglect this thing. No, you will not neglect any part in a potential. First, you will do the Taylor expansion, and then you have to got this number, because this number will be always 0 at the stable equilibrium point. And you should also verify that is that there a stable equilibrium or not. If it is not a stable equilibrium point, there is not any chance to do the oscillatory motion. So this is very interesting. And yes, I have to mention a is greater than 0 and b is greater than 0. Otherwise, thing will be very messy. So let's go for the calculation part. So what is my omega? My omega is root under k upon m. What is my k? For my theory, the k is this value. The k is d square v upon dx square at x is equal to x naught. So what do I have to do? I have to first calculate what is my x naught, and then I have to calculate this number k. Let us try to calculate this one. So vx is a x square plus b upon x square, we can go for stable equilibrium point, so that must be equal to 0. Here we can calculate this equilibrium point actually. So this value is 2ax minus 2b upon x cube is equal to 0. So x4 is equal to plus minus b, sorry, x4 is equal to b by a, and I can calculate x is equal to plus minus b upon a to the power 1 by 4. Obviously there are 4 roots, 2 roots are real, 2 are imaginary, so we can neglect the imaginary root, okay, because we have to just talk only about the real root. This is x plus minus b upon a, and this is my x naught actually. This is my x naught. So now we should go for a next level of calculation. So when we are going for the next level of calculation, then we have del square v upon del x square, and this value is, we can differentiate this thing. So this will be 2a into 1, and this minus 3 will be there. So this will be 6b upon x4. So we have 2a minus plus 6b upon x4. Now I can put the value of x4 here. Directly I can put this value of x4, or this is nothing but x naught 4. So this value I have to calculate del square v upon del x square at x is equal to x naught, that is 2a plus 6. I can put the value of b, sorry, x4. So this is 6b by, what will be this value? This value is b
upon a, sir.
upon a. So b and b is cancelled. This value is 8a. So this is your k. The k is your 8a. So what is your angular frequency? Your angular frequency is 8a upon m. Okay. क्या क्या हो सकता है इसमें ऑप्शन? ऑप्शन होगा 2a upon m, पहला तो यही होगा. दूसरा ऑप्शन हो सकता है 4a upon m. Okay, है ना, something this type. Lot of people will just do the 2a upon m because वो बाकी टर्म को पोटेंशियल में गड़बड़ करेंगे. So don't guess the answer, do proper calculation and just give the final answer. Okay, so I think this is very simple stuff for the calculation point of view, है ना? Just we have to just go for 2-step thing. One is all about k. First we have to just do the maxima minima, and then we have to just calculate the value of k. Okay, so should I give you one homework such that everyone, so I am just giving you 2 homework. Okay, so I think we should start working with problem solving thing. Okay, so everybody will post your answer into your WhatsApp group. So if you will not post your answer, then you will not allowed into next class. So should you post? आप लोग post करोगे या फिर हमें कुछ disciplinary action लेना पड़ेगा?
Yes, sir. Post कर देंगे.
Very good. So everybody should